Good evening everyone, it's Tom Sydney Bushnell aka Numbers. I'm here in Manhattan and we're looking at the Chrysler building right there. So some interesting things on this. The word Chrysler comes to 108, which comes to Twilight, comes to Hoverboard actually out of Back to the Future, Anti-Gravity, and it comes to Fitzgerald 108. If you do the Chrysler, that's 33, that's Magic. Don plus Fitzgerald comes to 141, which comes to Looking Glass, comes to Reincarnation, comes to my name, Tom Bushnell. And building, the word building is 78. So it comes to the Fitzgerald Kennedy. That comes to 219, which interestingly enough does come to this building here. So we're now looking down at the southern tip of Manhattan, and you're looking at the World Trade Center, or World Trade Center, actually one World Trade Center, so you can see the beams of light that go into the sky representing the Twin Towers, or remembering the Twin Towers. So this one here, the World Trade Center, one World Trade Center. World Trade Center is 185, which is Donald John Trump. It's the Gregorian calendar. It's the Book of Revelation 185, the Book of Mormon 185. But Donald John Trump 185, and we miss you, sir. We can't wait to see you more often. And one World Trade Center, so one is 34, which is DJT, so it's DJT, Donald John Trump, 219. But DJT, the word one, is Neo, 34, but it's also grace. Michael talks a lot about grace and the grace of JFK, the grace of God, etc. So 219 comes to the Mount of Olives as well, and people will know some of the biblical references in terms of the second coming of the Lord, how he will step foot upon the Mountain of Olives, or the Mount of Olives, and it will cleave in two. So yeah, that's interesting that one World Trade Center and the Chrysler building come to both the same values. Chrysler sounds quite like Christ as well, obviously, when you hear it phonetically. So let's go back over here, and you've got where are we? There we are. You've got the Empire State Building. So there's some interesting numbers around that. Empire State comes to 131, which comes to Belt of Orion. Well, yeah, the Belt of Orion. Sorry, Belt of Orion, I should say. 131 comes to -48. Comes to John F. Kennedy. But Empire State, and again the word building. The word build is 48, which is Tom, which is 48. Add the ing is 30. That's AU plus AG, silver and gold. That takes you to 78, which is Kennedy. So you've got Empire State Building, and the interesting about that is, so people will know this from cinematic history, King Kong. So King Kong comes to 88, which is Trump or J. Kennedy, and the gorilla, the word gorilla, comes to 74, which is Gematria, which is Messiah, which is Tarot, which is Point, which is London, which is Jesus. Simple, the word simple, 74. English is 74, Gematria is 74, 222, follow the twos. That comes to 193. Yeah, so King Kong, 88, Empire State Building. You've got 131 Empire State, and you've got King Kong, you've got Trump or J. Kennedy. So, and then in closing, if you go over here, you've got down there, you've got Madison Square Garden, and Madison Square Garden comes to 205 when you add it up, and Madison is 75, which is funding, which is magic wand. President Trump said we have a magic wand. If you say a magic wand, that's 76, that's Thomas, that's Ripple. Square is 81. 81 is Tiffany. 81 is tower, 81 is dollars. President Trump spoke just in a recent phone tweet, I think it was, I saw today. He talked about the returning of the election and the stealing of the jewels. The thief has to be returned, and he said Tiffany, talked about Tiffany, and obviously the jewel is Tiffany, but Tiffany comes to 81. The word square comes to 81. And yeah, it's interesting. So 205. Garden is 49, which is yes, or not, or green, or crash. But add those together, 205. 205 comes to a few things, but one of them is my dear grandmother. I mentioned her, she's been important for the numbers for me. And her name's Eileen Mary Adelaide Wood. So the best is yet to come, everybody. God bless.